everybody, my name is Luke Mar and this is Hot Mode, and today on Hot Mode we're coming to you with the 2022 Governors Awards. And I feel like I've been doing a lot of award shows, but the people keep showing up at red carpets. I just gotta do what I gotta do. I gotta follow where the people go. The Governors Awards, something that I did not know really was a thing, but it's done by the Academy. Yes, that Academy. Because it is a way to celebrate people that are lifetime achievement worthy human beings within the film industry, and also I think it cuts some time away from the actual Oscars. The Academy says jump, and every celebrity sniffing around for an Oscar says how high. So they all show up to everything, which I think is enjoyable. Let's get into it. First up, we have Ana de Armas, and she is wearing a custom Louis Vuitton look. Now, it's a bra top that is in a diamond cut shape. They're two diamonds that hold together in the middle and create a sort of plunging neckline, but then they expose the stomach in a bunch of ways. They are piped in some sort of sequined circular effect that runs from top down towards the center and then back out. And then there's a black band high-waisted skirt with a white broidered and crystalled skirt. It's not great. It's just, it seems discombobulated. It does not seem like it was well thought out. It doesn't seem to go together in any way, nor does it like make any sense, and I think it's unfortunate, especially considering it's a custom. I think Louis Vuitton has great custom moments, and then sometimes they have not great custom moments, and that needs to be figured out, because this is rough looking, and I don't know why it's so rough looking. Not all the way thought out. So now next up we have Angela Bassett wearing Giambattista Valli. Now I believe that this is haute couture actually, and it might even be like a custom look. So essentially we can see that it is a chain of large crystals that start at the neckline and move throughout the entire bodice. It's a sheer bodice, so it exposes the body underneath, and then it goes into a high-waisted skirt that has a feather trim because there's slits on the side. Feathers are very full, which I love. Proud of Giambattista for that. But it sort of comes down from the side where the slit is and then pipes all the way down to the hem and then back up on the other side. I do think that the paneling underneath the actual crystallized chain effect, it's a pretty good color match. I have to give credit where credit is due. I don't think it fits super duper well because just the way that we can see it sort of crumple and rumple, and that's hard. But I appreciate that we at least did a pretty good color match. Also think the fact that instead of it being partially gold, I think here the all silver is nice. I think it allows the silver just to be the thing instead of silver and gold fighting with the white and the feathers. As for the skirt, I like the cut of the bottom. I think that it's intriguing. I think that sort of circularness that comes through with the feathers is intriguing. But overall, I don't know. I just feel like Angela Bassett, it's always like hard, and it makes me sad because I don't want it rough like this. It just never hits the way that it should. I'm like, no. Why? I just think there's like fit issues going on. I think the way that it hits at the waist, where that white skirt starts, is just a little messy. I love the idea of it. I think the execution of it is not great. Next up we have Austin Butler and Saint Laurent. It's pretty simple black suit by Anthony Vaccarello, a little bit of a wide leg pant, white button down shirt that's been unbuttoned a bit. I don't know. It's a little bit too basic Saint Laurent for me. Listen, I understand Saint Laurent is very simple, but I think what needs to also happen when you're doing suiting like this, you need to fluff it up a little bit, and this feels a little bit too plain. I don't know if that's because it's on Austin's side. I don't know if it's because it's on Saint Laurent's side. It just feels a little bit blah, blah, black sheep, and I don't love that. I want more. A little bit something, a little bit intrigue, a little bit inspiration, whether you're taking inspiration from like the 70s and the sort of rocker, Mick Jagger-ness, or if you're taking inspiration from Elvis in the 50s. But like this suit is just too banal to really will even be talked about. Next up we have Carey Mulligan, and she is wearing Valentino. Now it's a very simple black fitted dress, and I think the fit of it is pretty nice, I have to be fair. The thing that is the intrigue of the dress actually is not the silver sort of piping that goes around the neckline, but actually the chain straps, which again, it sounds really simple and it looks really simple, and I think that it is to a degree. But it does have historical context within the history of Valentino. In 1967, I believe it's the spring collection, Valentino Garavani did a motif that were these really, really beautiful sort of ovular chains. And I'm pretty positive that Pier Paolo Piccioli, who's a current creative director, has really been mining the archives to recreate that. And so we've been seeing this chain motif come quite a bit. Normally it was just done as a print on silk, but I like the fact that Pier Paolo was like taking it and sort of trying to bring it into a third dimension. It's making it a little bit less just a motif and more a sort of design technique and house code that you can bring into different things. I think the idea of transferring it to the chain and making it functional as a strap is cool. Of course, you know, you want a little bit more overwhelming and pizzazzed, but as of right now, like, I think it's cool. It has a nice historical backdrop to it. I'll take it. Next up, we have Cate Blanchett, and she is wearing Alexander McQueen. This may look familiar to some of you because Cate Blanchett has actually, in fact, worn this already. She wore it to the Venice Film Festival a few years ago, and it's a look from Alexander McQueen's Spring/Summer 2020 collection. Tailored black jacket that also transforms into an asymmetrical dress with a big froofy floof that comes out of the right sort of shoulder sleeve situation, and then also the asymmetrical neckline with some embroidered flowers, close to a floor-length skirt in chiffon that is embroidered with a, again, silver sort of foliage motif. I didn't love it then. I don't really love it now. I like that Cate Blanchett is a sustainable icon, so there's that, but at the same time, it's fine. You know what I mean? I get it. Like, also, you know, she's like, I have to show up. I don't really need to, like, turn a look out for this. But she's attempting to just have another McQueen moment. And I'm sure Alexander McQueen is very happy about this. It wasn't really like a look then. I don't think it's really a look now. That's that on that. But points for sustainability, right? Next up, we have Danai Gurira, and she is wearing Max Mara. Now, this is a crop top and floor-length mermaid skirt combo. It looks like it's a beautiful rib knit sort of style tank top. I actually like the cut of the tank top. I think it's cool. And then the skirt is not ribbed, but it does have godets of a sort of darker beige that sort of flow out and create a little bit flumph at the bottom there. We can also see that she's wearing some Tiffany & Co. jewelry. She's wearing a nice little Elsa Peretti bone arm necklace bracelet that, listen, love an Elsa Peretti and love a Tiffany, so I mean, I stan. I guess she wants maybe the jewelry to be the main focus because this is just a little bit bland. And I'm not saying that I'm mad about it because Max Mara is a brand that's very simple, I would say. It's not really a brand that does super crazy over the top stuff. It's not overwhelmingly memorable. It's just nice clothes for rich people, and there's certain brands that do that. I appreciate that, and I think Max Mara does that well. I just feel that it's a little bit blah, and that's fine, and I can think that because it is a little bit blah, but it's meant to be, so I don't hate it. It's just blah, and maybe I wish we had done something a little bit more somewhere else. Like, listen, the jewelry is cool, another bone cuff could have helped or something, or I don't know. It's fine. It just could be better. So next up we have Emma Corrin, and they are wearing a Miu Miu look. Now it's essentially a sleeveless blazer that looks like it's been chopped at the sleeve so we can see the frayage a little bit. There is a sheer top that's been crystallized and embroidered in a trellis motif with some sort of little cluster of sequins or paillettes in the center, and then a pair of trousers, I would say, with a little Miu Miu band. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's fine. I think it's intriguing. I think the fact that we're going for like a vest instead of a suit is cool. The top underneath is also intriguing. It's not really super memorable. And the pants are fine. The loafers are cool. It's not the biggest Emma Corrin moment whatsoever, but I don't despise it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not like, ugh, disgusting. I think it's a deconstructed Miu Miu sort of style. It could be better and more exciting, but also it's a governor's award. So like, should I maybe expect that? No, and I don't think I do. And so I'm like, okay, fine. Next up we have Florence Pugh, who is wearing Victoria Beckham. This is a look from the Spring 2023 collection. There is a white sort of draped bra top and then a sheer sheath dress that is full of polka dot done in a very grid format motif. There's a little band around the pelvic area that also sort of jumps up to one side of the waist, and then it's floor length. There's like a little bit of a train in that white silk. I don't think it's that attractive. I get it, designers want to do something that's intriguing and interesting. It is. It's just a draped dress with a sheer bit underneath, and okay. thanks, but like we're good. I don't know. We just don't need it. It's not necessary. It's not really a look. It's not really intriguing. It's not really memorable. It's not really anything. You know what I mean? Even like the drape on the runway just looks more intriguing than the drape here. And that, I guess, also, you know, is like a big part of it. The drape here just looks strange, whereas the drape on the runway actually has like some depth and it exposes a little bit more. This feels lackluster, and that's sad. I also hate the fact that the sheer panel is like super duper white, so it makes the body underneath look just like a totally different color than what's going on here, and it's not in like a manner that is enhancing. It feels like it's actually kind of detracting. It's a poorly designed look, in my opinion. It's just not good. Next up, we have Gabrielle Union, and she is wearing what I believe is a custom Prada look. It's essentially a fully black lace dress with a bateau neckline. The black lace, in reality, in my opinion, it's a guipure sort of lace, which I think is also really nice and different than the usual lace. It has a sort of belt, and then there is a black sort of bottom underneath, and then it's pretty much floor length. What I think it is a reference to a very iconic Prada collection, which is fall 2008, which essentially at the time that Miu Prada did it was an attempt to make lace much more modern and intriguing. And so while here Gabrielle Union is wearing black, there was a bunch of different colors of lace. So there was like bright orange, and there was, I think, like maybe a blue. What Miu Prada tried to do at that time was, again, modernize lace, make it something that is a little bit more young and youthful and smart and intellectual, rather than just being associated with either weddings or funerals. And the thing that I love about Raf Simons and Miu Prada now is they're always sort of going back into the archives to reference things. And I like that the Prada custom looks reference old collections, which are very much so iconic. And so, in reality, I love the historical context of the look. I think the dress in and of itself is nice too. I think the bateau neckline is sweet. I think that in reality, it's allowing the lace really to be the center focus. Do I love the belt? No, but do I know that it's from the collection too? Yes, so I'm gonna allow it. I think the use of just the simple black bottom is good. The handbag with the little, triangular Prada clutch, also, what Prada is really, really pushing nowadays. And it's, again, a signature sort of house code and silhouette. So I like the look. I think it's cool. I think it's fun. I think it's a nice Prada callback. And also the other thing is, when Prada did this in 2008, everybody and their mother said, oh, lace, we're gonna do that too. Like Mrs. Prada does the trend before everybody else, and then everybody else is like, oh shit, she did it, we gotta do it. So I know that this might seem a little bit old and a little bit dated, but considering what it's referencing, it's actually referencing a collection that reinvigorated lace within fashion, so it's not really old and dated. It's kind of iconic. I do wish, though, that maybe we had done a crazier color. I understand that the black is simple and it's effective, and I agree, but I think maybe keeping in terms with like the modernization would have been cool to do like a red or a orange or a green. Considering that it fits nicely, it's a good reference, I'm happy with this. Next up, we have Janelle Monáe, and she is wearing Giambattista Valli as well. Now, this is also from the Haute Couture collection for fall 2022. It's simply, I believe, bodysuit that is sheer. It's a high sort of turtleneck bodysuit, and then it's made up of a trellis motif that does actually look very intricate in terms of the way that the trellises are woven on the side, so they're kind of curving into each other. It's a sheer sort of panel. Again, I don't love the use of the white as a sheer. I think that it's hard because like you have to be literally, I don't know, even paler than me, and like that's tough. I think it's hard, but also I think the embroidery on this was so intricate that there was no way they were gonna get it redone for a red carpet, so I understand it. What I also do think, though, is intriguing and interesting and cool is the dress that sort of comes with it. We can see that it's a bodysuit, but we can also see that there is this sort of like tailorified chiffon panel that's been pleated up the front. We can see that the neckline plunges down. We can also see that there's an upturned collar and a little bit of a poof on the sleeve, I believe. The collar is actually maybe not a collar, it's actually bows, which is a Giambattista Valli house code, so, I get it, but also it looks like a collar from here, which I think is cool. And then the skirt, I like the skirt. I think it's simple, I think it's effective, I think that it does the flowy sort of nice feeling, but it's not taking away attention. What I hate it so much, is that silver double crystal band around the waist. I get it, I understand why it's there, but I just hate it. I think it just throws off the look. I wish we had just done a black twisted band around the waist. I just think there needs to be that tie in between the pieces. Like if we're gonna tie in the embroidery, like make those two things work and make sense. I don't get the silver band across. I just feel like it throws off the look and it makes me upsetty spaghetti, and that's annoying me personally. Besides that, I would have actually really loved this, but that makes me sad. Next up, we have Jennifer Connelly, and she is wearing Louis Vuitton. Now, I believe that this is a custom look, and it's essentially a form-fitting bodice experience. But what we can see at the hip area is there are two foamy puffs that sort of wrap themselves around the hips. The hip area below, it becomes a gathered floor-length skirt with train in white. So the thing is, it's almost like a raft of sorts wrapped around the waist. The thing is, I'm pretty positive that this is inspired by a look from the Spring 2023 collection. We can see that in the Spring 2023 collection, these hip puffs are textured because I think that they are also gathered in this manner. They look like lobster tails. Essentially from that, we can see that the gathering on the skirt has the same or similar effect. I like the idea of adapting very avant-garde looks from the runway and bringing them into a much more red carpet context, and I think that team at LV has done a good job here. I like the fact that also, at least with the bodice, the fact that it's flat texture, it kind of helps a little bit. It defines the body well, and then it lets the hips do all of the talking. In general, do I love it? No. But do I like the fact that they're focusing on one particular technique and letting that be the thing that leads the way? Yeah, I can appreciate it. I understand what we were going for. I think we delivered it. Do I think that it's the most amazing thing? No. But do I think that it's good? Yeah, it's there, and I'm not mad about it. So that's nice. Jennifer Connelly is a dedicated Nicolas Ghesquiere-phile, and I appreciate that she's always willing to go for it 100%. Next up, we have Jennifer Lawrence, and she is wearing Dior. Now, this is a halter style dress from the Spring 2023 collection. It's, again, a black halter with a little sort of scoop neckline. Then it's a tiered sort of skirt that is full of what I would say is like a rattan, embellishments, appliques that are floral and in nature with stars and things like that. Pretty positive that Dior was still sort of channeling the most recent haute couture collection, which was based on Ukrainian folk dress and textiles. It definitely is a intriguing inspiration. I think it's just done a little bit less haute couture time spent in it. I know that it probably still took a lot of time. Dior is very proud of that. Whenever you go and see them, they're like, this took 47 hours. And you're like, oh, excuse the fuck out of me. So the thing is, I don't hate the dress. I don't love it. I think it's fine. It's very commercialized. I like the fact that at least it was adapted to be a little bit more halter, because I don't think that it's a halter on the runway. I think that whoever styled it did a good job because it sets it apart a little bit. It makes it a little bit more intriguing. It's not amazing, but it's not like terrible either. It's just existing, and if it's just existing, I think that I'm okay with that. It's diet haute couture. It's real. It's true blue ready to wear, and fine. It's not affronting my eyeballs, so I'm gonna take this. Next up, we have Jessica Chastain, and she's wearing Zuhair Murad. Now, this is an off-the-shoulder red embroidered dress. It is a partially sheer experience, and there's a lot of motif going on. There's a sort of sheer panel at the chest, these sleeves that are sort of, you know, exposing a little bit, or not a little bit, but the shoulder, and then sort of covering the arms with grids and dots in the center, and then, you know, the waist. What I love about a Zuhair Murad, and, you know, a lot of those, I think they're Lebanese designers, they know how to do a waist, because they do. You know what I mean? They're not going to cover it in a belt or a band of crystals. They're just going to take their crazy kooky motif and they're going to let that create the waist. And I appreciate that. We can see that there are those sort of arrows that pull away and again accentuate the waist, keep itself wrapped within the aura and essence of the embroidery going on. The skirt is fine. It's not really intriguing. It's not really interesting, but I think the red is a great color choice. I think that the scoop neck with the off-the-shoulder sleeve effect is really, really nice. Architecture around the waist. It's not amazing, but I think that there's a lot about it that makes it a pretty nice dress that I'm very much so I'm shocked that I kind of am enjoying. Next up, we have Keke Palmer, and she is wearing the designer Robert One. Now, Robert One is a designer who is from Hong Kong originally, but based out of London, and he does these really, 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 really beautiful godets that are so technically stunning. I would say that this wine sort of bustier top with the peplum is beautiful. It's stunning. I think sculpturally, it is gorgeous. It is effervescent. It runs all the way around. Those godets are stunning. The way that they sort of flit out, but they're still curved. Like there's really like, he's very much so a technician. He's very, very good at what he does. The issue is the skirt. It's a rough skirt. I think the silk, this sort of, silk, and I know why it's done the way that it's done. I understand it. I get it. It's meant to be movable. She has to walk in it, whereas that bustier is a lot more stiff. I just think that the silk on the skirt really is a detractor from what's going on up top. It looks uncomfortable. I think the color differentiation is also really hard because your eye is immediately drawn to the fact that this is red, not wine colored. I think the wrinkles and the puckering we can see throughout is also just, it's hard to look at. I think the peplum is also just, it's tough because it comes down so much that it sort of shortens what's going on with the skirt. And if you look at it from like a runway perspective, it doesn't have that same effect. So the thing is, I love that top so much. I think it's beautiful. I hate that skirt. It's really, it's kind of nauseating to look at. And I love Robert One. I think he's going to be a star after this still. But it's a tough skirt. It was a bad choice there with this. I think it's like a mishmash of a bunch of things. I think it's just the construction of the skirt. I think that the height of Keke does not help in terms of how long that bodice and that peplum is. And I just also think that the silk on that skirt is just, it was never gonna be good. So I'm sad because this could have been a moment. It could have been good. A different Robert One look would have been much better. Please, thank you. Next up, we have Margot Robbie. She's wearing Bottega Veneta. Now, this is a look from, I believe, the pre-fall collection by Mathieu Blazy. I don't know if you guys noticed, but Margot, she's officially out of the Chanel contract. Yeah. So it's a green look, and the thing about Mathieu Blazy and Bottega as a whole, it's a brand that is very much so about not being ostentatious. And I think what Mathieu Blazy has done, and Daniel Lee before him did at Bottega, is really, really, truly focus on the texture of garments and how texture and shape and all those things can be a signature for a brand without it having to say Bottega Veneta on it. So we can see that there is a green sort of textured top on the shoot. There is a also green textured top. I just think that this top did not fit Margot, and I think that we tried to have it altered to fit her. I just don't think that this top was ever going to be for her, unless this was made for her, in which case, no. Uncomfortable. One side creates an intriguing texture. Her right side looks good. The left side, if we zoom in, we can see that there is something going on with the drape over there, and it's not great. It's uncomfortable. It's rough. Also, like, we can see the zipper. It's not good. The skirt, that I think is much better, does attach to the actual top via a piece of twisted gold hardware. So I guess is it technically a dress if it's attached? I don't know. I should know this, I guess, maybe, but I'd presume that this is still like a two-piece, even though I guess technically it's a dress. I just think that the silk is hard because, yes, while it is going to most definitely create an intriguing texture, I think that at the same time, it is not a forgiving texture. Silk like this, it's so hard because when it reflects the light off it, it doesn't usually look good. I'm gonna give Margot a moment to just walk out of the Chanel thing. Listen, that must have been traumatizing, PTSD, and give her a little bit of time to find herself. She's walking straight into Bottega. I think that she will get there, but I think she's shopping around right now. I would love to see her in a Bottega experience because she would be great. I just don't know if this was the right Bottega experience for her. That top at all, I just don't think it's great. But I like that she's trying. Appreciate it. You know what I mean? We gotta be gentle with her. Next up, we have Mia Goth in Dolce & Gabbana. It's an off-the-shoulder red taffeta that it's like a opera coat. I mean, it's there. It's Dolce, wherever. We're moving on. Next up, we have my queen, Michelle Yeoh. She might not watch Haute Mode, but somebody does. She is wearing this beautiful Bottega Veneta look from the Spring 2023 collection. It is a gorgeous bodice that is fitted and flared. It has this very regal, conservative sort of feeling to it up top. The way that it's draped, the sleeves, they command attention, but they're also intricate. Mathieu Blazy knew what he was doing. Plunge, the nice plunge is appropriate. And then the best part really is that skirt that is made up of all leather tassels and that full leather fringe. Again, this idea of texture, this idea of playing with leather and different fabrics to really create something that is Bottega, but it doesn't have to scream the words Bottega Veneta at you. I love this look. I think this was like made for Michelle Yeoh. I think that it captures her real true sort of regality, but at the same time, it's fun, it's smart, it's fashion forward, it understands what it's doing, and it does just enough to say, holy shit. But also, your mother could wear it, and your mother might say, oh my God, I love this, I look gorgeous. And that's what you want. Like, my mom probably would wear this, and that, if you know my mom, that would be kind of a banger moment. The fact that this speaks to the modern mom, I love it. Next up, we have Olivia Wilde, and she is wearing Erdem. Now, this is a look from the Spring 2023 collection. It is made up of a few parts, so it's essentially a underskirt sort of style. We can see that there is a bustier exposed, it's boned, feels very deconstructed gown, which Erdem is a brand known for gowns that are really beautiful and heavy and full and silk and gorgeous. So I like the fact that Erdem is playing with himself. I think he probably is currently the most exciting designer in London. Like, I would say that Erdem is becoming a staple, a reason to go to London. Erdem, if you ever want to fly me out to London to see the show, call me. What I think is also cool is Erdem plays on these ideas of like traditional sort of glamour and beauty and silhouette. And so what he's done is he's taken a bit of chiffon, embroidered it with a little bit of lace. There's a little bit of a fishnet sort of situation going on as well. And he's created sort of an overlay over the under skirt and corset element, and then he's belted it. I don't love the belt, but I do think that it really creates a gorgeous shape. It really is a stunning silhouette. I think that it's a great look, and Olivia Wilde looks wonderful. Do I maybe wish she went for the veil? Yeah, I mean, like, maybe this is pre the Harry Styles breakup thing, and I don't really talk about that kind of stuff. It's like not really any of my business, and I don't care enough. But I do wonder if we had done the veil, maybe it would have been and would have read a little bit like, like I would have been like, okay, all right, she's telling a storyline. I like this. She's in mourning, but maybe she's like, listen, I'm not in mourning. I don't care. That's my thing. I do think the veil would have really been like, she gave it to the girls. But I think that the dress in and of itself is really beautiful. I do love the idea of the sort of overlay with the underskirt. I think she did a good job. Erdem, a star, love it. Next up, we have Sadie Sink and Alexander McQueen. It's a light pink dress with some feathery foliage embroidery. Kind of sucks. It's blah, it's uninteresting, it's just not really cool. It just feels off the rack, and that's fine, but like, nah, I don't know. I feel like we're seeing like everybody else kind of like doing it, even at least with the Cate Blanchett, it's like designed. This is like bar mitzvah. And listen, there's nothing wrong with a bar mitzvah dress, but like, would you rather look like Alexander McQueen, iconic sort of style vibe, or would you rather look like 13-year-old girl becoming a woman? It does not feel exciting or interesting. I think it just makes her look forgettable, and that's sad. Next up, we have Taylor Russell, the fashion girl. She is wearing Schiaparelli. Now, this is from the fall 2022 Haute Couture collection, and she is wearing essentially a simple sort of sheath black dress that is very drape-ified. But what really is like the intrigue point is her headband, which is full of gigantic Schiaparelli sort of earrings. I'm pretty positive that this is a halter-style dress, the black, so it's not this headband holding up the dress, which I think would be cool. It's something that Daniel Roseberg at Schiaparelli has done before. It's not the craziest Taylor Russell look, you know what I mean? I'm not like, oh, listen, everybody has their off day, and that's okay. I don't even think this is really like an off day. I appreciate the headwear, and I appreciate the headpiece, and I think that it's cool that she's like, listen, I'm gonna let the head have a little bit of, excitement and intrigue and memorability, and I think that it's different than what people usually go for. Everybody usually is like, my dress, and then like they have like a clean face and their hair and da-da-da-da. It's very rare that you get somebody that really does like a headpiece. I appreciate this, I have to say. It's not a bad look at all. I think it's nice, I think it's fun, I think that it keeps in with the history of Schiaparelli. I think that Taylor Russell knows how to do a Schiaparelli moment very well. She's cool, I like her a lot. This is a fine moment. It's still out there compared to most people that we've seen, but it's not that out there for her. And last but certainly not least, we have Viola Davis wearing Christopher John Rogers. Now, this is a sort of signature Christopher John Rogers style, which is colorful, vibrant stripes in a gorgeous silk. We can see that at the bust, there is a downward V sort of style stripe that goes pink, orange, yellow, blue. It's a black halter dress as well. The dress moves down, fits the waist, and then sort of has inverted V's of white and blue and red, and then black, and then blue, and then white, and then yellow, and then black, and then yellow, and then white, and then orangey, and then red, and then pink. In reality, very Christopher John Rogers, very colorful, beautiful evening gown, very intriguing. I know it's not a lot of people's style, but like, listen, house code, very iconic, very much so. Bert and Ernie couture, and we love it. Viola Davis always just sort of goes for it, and I like that she does color so well. I like that she's a Christopher John Rogers stan. And listen, is it my most favorite CJR look ever? No. But do I think that it fits well? Do I think the colors are there? Do I think that it is quintessential CJR? Absolutely. And so I'm happy for that. Hate the bag, but the dress, love. So that is the end of this Governor's Awards video. Let's talk about best and worst. As for best, I'm gonna put Olivia Wilde's kind of loved, kind of really ate it up. Michelle Yeoh, whew, good, solid, hot, sexy. Taylor Russell I'll put in there. Gabrielle Union. As for worst dressed, I'm gonna have to throw Ana de Armas, Sadie Sink, Margot Robbie, Keke Palmer. I think that's enough. Yeah, I think we're good. I would love to know what you guys think of all of these looks in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video, and TTYL.